Hello and welcome to Benefits Weekly. All right, our topic this week is Medicare premium reimbursement arrangements. I will be the first to admit this is not something I know a lot about, but Eric, you seem to be an expert. Can we start with what the heck these are?
Absolutely. So, Kyle, you're not alone. I've done a few classes on Medicare premium reimbursement arrangements, and I typically ask, how familiar are you with this idea? And generally, most of the attendees say not at all. So, this is a new concept, I think, for a lot of viewers. Basically, a Medicare premium reimbursement arrangement is a way for small employers to reimburse their Medicare-eligible employees for Medicare Part B and D premiums, as well as Medicare supplement premiums, so that they can drop off of the group plan, go on to Medicare, and actually come out, ahead.
Awesome. So, in that situation where the Medicare eligible individual is enrolling in Medicare instead of the group plan, do they still have the choice to enroll in the group plan, or like what does it look like from the employee's perspective?
Right. So I think a lot of employers would like to force their Medicare eligible employees off of the group plan at age 65. At a federal level, that's technically allowed on groups that are under 20 employees, but a lot of states don't allow it. So, for instance, where you and I are in Texas, the coverage has to be offered to all eligible employees, whether they're eligible for Medicare or not. So, employers in most places can't force Medicare eligible employees off of the group plan. This is a way for them to give those employees an incentive to drop off of the group plan, but it is the employee's choice. They still have the option of declining the reimbursement arrangement and staying on the group health coverage.
Got it. So from the employee's perspective, it's really all about choice. I can choose to go with the group health plan being offered, or I can choose to go down the Medicare path and get essentially a stipend to help pay for it from my employer. One thing I want to note, just for our viewers. So I used to work in the world of ICHRA, help build an ICHRA platform. We would get asked all the time, can I set up an ICHRA just for my 65-year-old employees and kind of force them off the group plan with the ICHRA? And the answer was a big, bright no, you can't do that. So it sounds like similarly with this Medicare premium reimbursement arrangement, you can't force the employees into Medicare. But, thinking out loud, Eric, there could be a lot of situations where that employee's actually better off going down the Medicare path than sticking on the group plan. So maybe the reimbursement incentive there is that little nudge they need. I mean, what have you seen on that front?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whether the group is age rated or composite rated, if the employee has any share of the premium, on the group plan, it might actually go away if the employer is providing this reimbursement and they switch to Medicare. Also, most group plans are going to have a pretty significant out-of-pocket expense, where if somebody goes with Medicare and a supplement, depending on the supplement they buy, most of their out-of-pockets are going to be covered. So basically, the employee is able to pay less and get a better benefit. So it definitely, in many cases, works out better for the employee to go ahead and take advantage of this option if it's offered.
And then what are some knock-on effects if it's better for that employee? Does it become even a win-win for the employer and the employees that stay on the group plan?
Yeah, I'd go a step further. It's one of those rare win-win-wins in health insurance, because the Medicare eligible employee can certainly benefit. The employer can benefit, because even if the employer is paying the entire amount for their Part B premium and their Part D premium and a Medicare supplement, a lot of times that's going to be lower in price than what the employer's share of the group premium would have been. And then finally, for those other employees, if it is a composite rated group, depending on the timing, obviously after the employee drops off, at the next renewal, they would not be factored into those composite rates. So all of the employees would see their premium go down some as a result of those older workers dropping off of the plan.
Okay, wow. Okay, you just sold me on the win-win-win, but I've got to ask, because there's always a catch in benefits. What is the catch? What are the things we've got to be aware of or thinking about in terms of some of the cautionary tales here?
Sure. So one of them is, this is for a subset of employers. It is only available on groups that have fewer than 20 employees where Medicare is primary. So if, the group has 20 employees or more, or they're part of a aggregated employer group under common ownership where it's considered where the group plan is considered primary, then this is not an option. And the reason for that is because at 20 employees, the group plan becomes primary and the Medicare secondary payer rules kick in. And they say that not only can you not force an employee off the group plan, you cannot incentivize an employee to drop off of the group plans. Basically, this is going to be for 19 or fewer employees. As for the requirements, there's really three. One is there does have to be a group plan in place, and the Medicare-eligible employee can choose between the reimbursement and the group plan. Second, this is an arrangement only for Medicare-eligible employees. You mentioned an ICRA earlier. It's not a situation where you can put an amount of money out there and say, Medicare folks can do this and everybody else can do this. This is just for Medicare people. And then finally, the person does have to have Medicare A and B to get the reimbursement.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I guess the biggest thing I'm taking away there is you got to have a group plan in place and you've got to be sub 20 employees. So we are talking about a nice little solution for small employers. I would imagine there's a lot of people that work in employee benefits with small employers that maybe their eyes are getting opened by this dialogue. And especially the fact that it's a win-win-win. Conceptually, I think a lot of people love this. In practice, though, I got to say, I haven't seen a lot of these out there. What is the first step? If I like the concept, but now I want to go put an actual solution in front of my employer client or in front of my business owner if I'm in HR, what do I do? How do I get involved and get one of these set up?
Yes, well, your observation's right. I mean, not only do I ask, who has heard of a Medicare reimbursement arrangement? A lot of people say no. I typically will ask, what do you think of it? And it's overwhelmingly positive. Most brokers that see this think that their clients could benefit from it. But the number one, I guess, objection, that you hear is, I don't know what to do. So some people, they want to make sure it's legal, which the guidance came out in 2015 in an IRS notice. It was actually, you mentioned ICRAs. It was repeated in the preamble for the ICRA regulations. It repeats the idea and requirements for a Medicare premium reimbursement arrangement. So definitely a legal strategy. As far as how to get started, the group does have to, this is considered a health plan. So the group does have to have a plan document. They do have to have a summary of benefits and coverage and so forth. So basically, this isn't something employers want to attempt on their own. They really do need to partner with a third-party administrator. I know for some of the clients that I work with, I went out and actually found a TPA who got with an attorney and figured this out and, is able to provide the necessary documentation and everything to dot the I's and cross the T's. So we are sharing that info in this week's article for anybody who would like to do this. And hopefully other TPAs will kind of, take the ball and run with it as well. And there will be multiple options. But as of right now, you're right. Not everybody administers this.
Well, and there you go. I think, find a local TPA or any TPA that really knows how to do this and can dot all the I's and cross all the T's from a compliance perspective. And, as with every week, we're going to have a great deep dive article where we go into this content in more detail. As Eric said, we'll have some options there we might recommend if it's of interest to you to set one of these up for your clients. So again, thank you for watching this week. As always, if you find it valuable, the best thing you can do is share it with a friend. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.